Fed just cut interest rates. And what every investor wants to know is this bullish or is this bearish? Well, it certainly looks like the market is thinking that it's really bullish because, well, stocks are going up. Gold is going up. Bitcoin is going up. Everything is going up. So it must be bullish. You can see this news article that's from JP Morgan saying stocks look to explode higher. They're really pushing this narrative. But is that really right? Because the world's best investors think differently. And this market is absolutely crazy. And if you get on the wrong sides of it, huge fortunes will be made and huge fortunes will be lost. Now, I find it really funny how a lot of people think. And they do a lot of first order thinking. Let me tell you what that means. Well, I've seen posts on Facebook coming through on my feed from supposed financial advisors. Maybe they are, maybe they're not, maybe they say they're financial advisors. And they're advocating to rush out and buy assets because, well, if interest rates come down, the price of money is cheaper, right? That means more money to buy assets. Quick, run out and buy assets. That's what the mainstream media will say. That's what the mainstream financial people will say. But what I always ask myself is, what are the world's best investors doing? What are they thinking about? How are they thinking differently? Because this is going to give me an edge. Because everyone knows that if you're thinking one way and something else happens, well, that's a recipe for losing a lot of money. And if you can spot the trend or spot the change, then it's a recipe for making a huge amount of money. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I like to study what the billionaires are doing and how they're thinking. See, when I just try to figure it out myself, I used to not make the right moves. But then as soon as I watched what the billionaires were doing and how they were thinking, how amazing investors were reacting to different news and different things, then my investing got much better. Now, I don't always get it right, but I always follow the principles that I learned from the billionaire investors. And one of them is Ray Dalio. And he says that he likes to study the past to predict the future. So let's take a look at the past and what happens when the Fed typically cuts interest rates. Now, I want to look at the data here because the data doesn't lie. And studying the past to predict the future is very important. So I found this chart from realinvestmentadvice.com. And they've tagged all the times the Fed has cut and what has happened to the stock market. Frankly, the Fed has cut. This chart goes all the way back to the late 60s. In the late 60s and 70s, the Fed cut. The stock market went down 27%. Then it went down 34%. In the 80s, they cut. It went down 7%. They cut some more. It went down 24%. They cut some more in the mid-80s. It went down 5%. And then looks like into the late 80s or early 90s there, they were cutting. In that recession, in the early 90s, the stocks went down 15%. Now, in the mid-90s, they cut a little bit, and stocks rallied. But in 2000, they cut, and stocks went down, what is that? 44%. Then again, in 2008, the Fed was cutting in 2007 and 2008, and stocks went down 56%. Then in 2019, they started cutting, and then the plague came, and the stocks went down 27%. So out of all the times the Fed has cut in the last 50-odd years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, 9 out of 10 times, the stock market went way down. 1 out of 10 times, the stock market went up. Now, it doesn't take a genius to tell you you should be absolutely terrified when stocks are going up everything is good and the Fed starts cutting rates. Because 90% of the time it has ended in disaster. Will this time be different? I don't know. And I'm not saying rush out and sell your investments. But what I am saying is the world's best investors look at the past. In the past, potentially can predict the future. In the past says, be very, very careful right now. You can see that history does not match with Wall Street's narrative. This is why it's more important than ever before to strive to be one of the best investors possible, because otherwise Wall Street is going to take advantage of you. And the easiest way I've found to do that is just to study what billionaires are doing and study how they think and where they're putting their money, because they have teams of analysts. They might have information that the public doesn't know. And as a result, they know exactly what to buy, when to sell, and this is why I created a financial newsletter called the Billionaire Portfolio Tracker. Obviously, you can put your money in whatever type of investment you want. But if you want to see where the smart money is going, so you can benefit from their years of experience and their track record, then I suggest you take a look at what I've put together called the Billionaire Portfolio Tracker. Here's the idea. Billionaires are legally required to disclose their stock trades to the SEC. You got forms like 13F, 13G, and Form 4. The problem is not every move that they make is worth paying attention to. Some are noise, some are hedges, some are small moves that don't really matter. But hidden in those moves are the power moves, the ones that signal conviction, opportunity, and strategy. That's where the Billionaire Portfolio Tracker comes in. We don't just dump a list of investment ideas in your lap. We sort through the clutter and highlight what really matters and explain why. So instead of drowning in data, you see only the important billionaire move. In plain English, delivered right to you. And let me tell you, the difference can be massive. For example, when Warren Buffett adds billions to a single stock, that's conviction. When Carl Icahn builds a concentrated stake in a company, that's not random. That's a recipe for change. And when Bill Ackman bets huge on an overlooked sector, that's not luck, it's strategy. These are the kind of moves we'll flag for you. So if you want to learn what the best investment to buy now is, I suggest copying the billionaires. That's what I'm doing for myself. You can check it all out at billionairetracker.com/join. There's a lot going on in this crazy financial world. So you got to stay up on it and be the best investor you can be so you don't become a victim to Wall Street. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.